So Samsung just launched its fresh new Galaxy S26 flagship, but has this wee blower here just made it more redundant than a Dunkin' Donuts in a diabetes clinic? You see, the Xiaomi 17 is another comparatively compact smartphone that does not compromise when it comes to beefcake performance. You got a slick triple Leica camera setup and massively upgraded battery tech compared with that Galaxy S26. Now, I've had my SIM slipped in there using the Xiaomi 17 as my full-time smartphone, so here's my review. And for more on the latest, greatest and dinkiest tech, please do poke subscribe, ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So the good news is for fans of mini smartphones at least, the Xiaomi 17 hasn't grown in size over the previous generation, still delightfully dinky at 6.3 inches. So along with that Galaxy S26 and Google's Pixel 10a, this is one of the more miniature smartphones of 2026, and a serious size reduction on that Xiaomi 17 Ultra, which I've also just reviewed. As you can see, there are practically bugger all bezels surrounding that screen, so no added girth. And not much of a chunkster either, especially when it comes to the old camera bump, which again significantly more compact than that Ultra. So even though it sports the now sadly fashionable completely flat design, flat screen, flat edges and flat arse, that more compact form and the rounded corners as well make for some pretty pleasing hand feel, and the Xiaomi 17 only weighs a mere 191 grams. So once again, it isn't a smartphone and a workout in one. And the Xiaomi 17 feels proper solid and perfectly premium through and through. You've got a good bit of Xiaomi shield glass once again. You've got that metal frame adding a premium finish and a matte glass back, which so far has avoided any kind of scratches, despite its semi-soused owner handling it less than delicately, shall we say. I'm generally about as gentle and caring as a pissed up elephant with grade A hemorrhoids. And of course, IP68 dust and water resistant, which is the least you'd expect from a flagship smartphone in 2026. And it comes in a small selection of colours, including black, pink, blue, or this rather splendid moody green finish, which kind of matches my background. And this repels and masks any greasy, grimy muck with aplomb. And I love that that green finish stretches not only to the metal frame, but also to that camera bump. So overall, it's a slick looking wee blower. And as is now standard for premium flagship smartphones, you do have an ultrasonic in-display fingerprint sensor, which takes an accurate 3D reading of your print. And this is an absolute banger, super swift as you can see there. I think it's failed me literally once these past few days, and to be fair, I did have a proper sweat on. I'd just seen away a massive pie and chip dinner with about a pint of gravy. You do also have face unlock as a backup just in case. And once you're in there, of course, you're greeted with our great mate HyperOS version 3, complete with that flagship guarantee of 4 OS updates and 6 years of security patching. Not the best pledge out there, doesn't quite match the likes of Samsung and Google, but pretty decent all the same. And of course, HyperOS is very much love it or hate it, kind of like Marmite or James Corden. Well, I mean, James Corden loves James Corden. Everyone else thinks he's a festering cockweasel. Whatever your feelings towards HyperOS, at least it's been well behaved here on the Xiaomi 17, especially considering its pre-release. Very little funny business going on. Occasionally an app will just blank screen, but I think that's happened maybe like 3 times the entire time I've been testing it, and just swipe the app away, try it again, generally works fine. I've certainly had less jip from this than I have from the Pixels and the iPhones that I've tested out lately. As always, that Xiaomi 17 highly customizable. You've got a plethora of always on display options if you don't fancy going with that iPhone-esque option. All of the classic bangers in there. You can also fully customize your lock screen. And of course, my favorite AI dynamic wallpapers feature is back in action. Just give it any still image on your smartphone and it will animate it, bring it to life, usually in a completely unpredictable and often hilarious way. I do love how AI just can't get its head around my 3-legged cat, so it always just gives him a 4th leg, and also makes his eyes anime-sized. And naturally, of course, that ain't all the AI on the Xiaomi 17. This thing is absolutely stuffed to the tits with it. Just as it's also absolutely stacked full of crapware, unfortunately. Most of the usual offenders, AliExpress, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. So you'll have to run through when you first set up your Xiaomi 17 and just ditch that bollocks. But good news is, of course, you've got 256 gigs of storage minimum, which is the minimum I would expect from a flagship in 2026. Not always the case, sadly. You can upgrade that to 512 gigs, and there's bugger all micro SD support. Now, the 6.3-inch OLED display, basically, as you would imagine, nice and crispy, 2656 by 1220 pixel resolution, so supremely sharp, especially given the more compact size. Gorgeous poppy visuals, you've got full Dolby Vision and HDR10 support. Beautiful contrast, deep blacks, and it's pleasingly bright as well, easily bright enough to see away the glare of these fierce studio lights. And I would imagine the sun, if you're actually lucky enough to have it in your country. It's an LTPO panel, so that refresh rate ranges from 1 to 120 Hz, nice and silky smooth when it needs to be. Got all the usual eye comfort shenanigans and proper DC dimming as well. The good news if you are more sensitive to OLED screens, but you've also got an adaptive refresh rate pro feature tucked away in the display settings if you want a more dynamic refresh rate. This does knock off the DC dimming and replace it with PWM dimming. So overall, the panel is a banger, and you've got a pretty decent stereo speaker setup here as well. Quite immersive audio overall, helped by the Dolby Atmos support, and that's despite the more compact nature of this phone. Yeah, the sound's slightly imbalanced, that bottom speaker definitely doing most of the heavy lifting. But that sounds certainly pretty ruddy loud when you max out the volume without killing the clarity as well, which is always great. The bass isn't terrible. And hey, for the performance, well, there's been no culls here compared with the Ultra model, so it's once again that Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 in charge, although albeit with just 12 gigs of RAM this time. So that more or less matches the specs of the Galaxy S26, although of course that uses the 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy, and that's in the USA. Here in Blighty we've got the bloody Exynos. Everyday running, nice and smooth. The occasional odd little stumble is undoubtedly down to HyperOS rather than the chipset. And if you are a gamer, well, I spent a good few hours buggering about in Wuthering Waves on the Xiaomi 17, mostly looking for fights with gribblies that wouldn't hopefully absolutely muller my inappropriately attired lasses. And yes, that is on the absolute top graphics settings with everything switched on. And the smartphone handled it absolutely fine for a while at least, but it does get rather bloody toasty when you get some proper gaming on the go. After about sort of 30 to 40 minutes, I did see a wee bit of throttling. So for those extended play sessions, I would certainly say bring a fan. Or, you know, just don't pump the graphics up to the absolute max as well. That'll certainly help. And you do have that nifty HyperOS gaming mode slapped on here, so you can cull any notifications, record the action, piddle about with various settings, etc. Now you've got to say the battery life is absolutely banging on this thing. You've got a 6,330 mAh capacity cell stuffed into the dinky compact frame of the Xiaomi 17. That's even bigger than the Xiaomi 17 Ultra. And hey, unlike that Ultra, I never found myself slipping deep into that power saver mode, even at the end of a very long, intense day. In fact, most days, even with 6 to 7 hours of screen on time, a fair bit of video streaming as well as background music streaming, bit of camera play, some video chatting, maybe a quick 20 minutes on Wuthering Waves just to get on my daily login bollocks. I still typically ended those days with around 30% charge remaining. If you're a bit more laid back, you don't do any gaming, and you're a bit more easy on the camera tech, you can happily last a full weekend on a single charge. Of course, if you do the opposite of that and you're gaming non-stop on Wuthering Waves, well, not only will it get rather bloody hot, but also a fully charged battery will drain in roughly 3 hours, which ain't great. But even if you do that, well, no worries, the Xiaomi 17's super quick to juice back up again, courtesy of the 100 watt wired charging support and the 50 watt wireless charging. And so my lovelies, let's finish up this lovely wee Xiaomi 17 review with a squint at that camera tech. It's a triple 50 meg Leica branded lineup, and unlike the Galaxy S26, it's completely new hardware versus that previous gen. So this time around, the main shooter is a Light Fusion 950 sensor that's 1/1.31 inches, so pretty sizable. While you also have yourself a floating telephoto lens using the Samsung GN5 sensor and an ultra-wide angle that uses the OmniVision OV50M. So yeah, 3 completely different sensors from different manufacturers. Although thankfully in the regular photo mode, you'll enjoy reasonably similar tones when swapping between them all in decent light. It's only in softer light that you will notice a big difference. And as usual, you've got a choice between Leica Vibrant, which is the default setting, or Leica Authentic. And this has a big impact on your pics, with Authentic producing more atmospheric but less crowd-pleasing results. Now, like the Ultra model, the Xiaomi 17 will struggle to focus on living subjects at times unless you dive into those camera settings and switch on the motion tracking focus option, which is deactivated by default. I highly recommend switching that on if you're an owner of an animal or a kid, just to make sure you avoid heartbreak further down the line. This plus the action mode certainly helps you to get some great natural looking snaps of your offspring and pets at play. Although yeah, you will still spy the occasional wee bit of motion blur at times, especially if the lighting ain't great. And that dedicated telephoto shooter certainly helps with portrait snaps and the like, and you will get decent results until you push well past the 15 times zoom level, at which point, yeah, the AI sharpening makes everything look like some kind of hazy dreamscape. And in lower light, the Xiaomi 17 holds up well thanks to that larger main sensor. People still look like people, with close to their natural skin tone, while the Leica Vibrant mode produces quite bold tones, but only slightly warmer than what you'll see in real life. Noise gets kicked right in the knackers too, unless you're using that ultra-wide shooter. So overall, very pleasing night results, especially if you happen to be snapping a particularly sassy elephant. Seriously, this elephant wants me. And of course, if you know your way around a DSLR or whatever, you do have a dedicated pro mode as usual, so you can piddle about with the ISO levels, the white balance, etc. You can capture up to 50 megapixel images, and you can also shoot in RAW as well as ultra RAW. And you got the usual parameter presets as well: slow shutter, quick snap, and documentary. You can create your own if you want to. And then if we jump into Pro Video mode, this again offers up a full selection of manual controls. You can record all the way up to 8K resolution footage at 30 frames per second, otherwise 4K at 30 or 60. Sadly, there's no 120 FPS option for video here. And I was perfectly pleased with the home movies that the Xiaomi 17 spaffed out. You can zoom up to around 5 times and everything stays crisp enough to not look cack on a bigger screen, but you'll certainly want to cap it there. Evening footage still looks pretty good too, if you stick with the main sensor at least, not too grainy, fuzzy or blurry. And the audio pickup's usually fine as well, as long as there's no wind about. Forget about doing that commentary on a blustery day, because you'll just end up with, well, this. Yeah, most of it's washed out. And finally, up front on the Xiaomi 17, you got yourself a 50 meg selfie camera, which, oh yes, can shoot 50 megapixel photos of your mug, if it's not quite as grizzled as mine. And you can also capture 4K resolution footage at up to 60 frames per second for your vlogging or video chat needs. Does a pretty good job, as you can see, stabilization solid even at 4K 60 FPS, and the audio pickup fine, again, as long as it's not too blustery. And there you have it, my lovelies. That in a tasty wee nutshell is my full final frank review of the Xiaomi 17. And yeah, if you want a compact smartphone that doesn't compromise, well, get it in you. HyperOS, of course, isn't for everyone, can perfectly appreciate that, and it does get rather toasty under pressure as well, especially when gaming on more intensive titles like Wuthering Waves. But the battery life, absolutely smashing for something quite so dinky, strong media chops and everything as well, and the performance has been fine as long as you don't absolutely go nuts on it, while I do adore that triple Leica setup. Anyway, that's what this inebriated northern ninny reckons, but what do you think? Are you tempted by the Xiaomi 17? I've done a full review of the Xiaomi 17 Ultra as well, so go check that out. Hoping to fully review the Samsung Galaxy S26 imminently, and Pixel 10a review should be going up around the same sort of time as this one too. Definitely let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and while you're down there, hey, why not poke subscribe, ding that notifications bell as well, and have yourselves a ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everybody, love you!